live? Somebody check the YouTube. Make sure we're good.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yep, we are.
All right, boys.
Hey
Take it away.
Everyone, and welcome to the second edition of this Orange and Blue Breakdown, where we bring to you all things in the world of the New York Mets. I'm Mets Rock, aka Nick. Yep, we are.
I'm Dave Kim, aka Captain Caps.
All in by sports fan Jared Tees at your service.
And before we bring you tonight's episode, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Now let's get right into it as we break down this past week in Mets baseball.
Alright, so what we will do, we will start off by breaking down the 4-game series on the road with the Washington Nationals. So in the series opener, unfortunately, Kodai Senga's scoreless streak ends at 20 and a third innings. There was a triple play that shouldn't have been. More on that later. The Mets had a 4-run comeback capped by a bases-clearing 3-run triple by Mark Vientos. However, the bullpen cannot hold the lead as blown save charged to Ryan Stanek, and the Mets lose the series opener 5-4 to the Nationals. Game 2. Francisco Alvarez hits a 2-run homer, accounting for the only 2 runs of the game. Clay Holmes combines with the bullpen for their 5th shutout of the season, a combined 7-hitter. AJ Minter unfortunately leaves the game with triceps tightness. More problems with the ump, Alfonso Marquez, who was the ump that called that triple play. But the Mets beat the Nats 2-0. Game 3, Mets bullpen melts down and fails to hold a 7-2 lead. A Pete Alonso error decides the walk-off as the Mets lose 8-7 to the Nationals, and the series closes with Brandon Nimmo driving in 9 runs and the Mets salvaging the split with a 19-5 laugher, capping the 4-game series against the Nationals. Now we go on to the 3-game series with the Washington Nationals. So the Mets score 7 runs combined in the second and third innings. There was some spectacular defense in the 4th inning as the Mets beat the Diamondbacks 8-3. The second game, Stanek unfortunately blows his 3rd lead in less than a week. The Mets offense goes 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and the Mets lose to the Diamondbacks 4-3. And today, the Mets get 2 home runs from Juan Soto, but little else as the Mets drop 2 out of 3, losing 4-2. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Well, I want to start off with going back to the National Series, and I gotta tell you, I know Diaz is bothered by some kind of hip problems, but if he's not on the IL, and if he says that he's good to go, why, in not one, but 2 one-run league games, Game 1 against the Nationals and Game 3, why isn't he pitching the 9th inning? The Mets should have won those 2 games, and quite frankly, the Mets should be better off than where they are with 2 more wins on their record. Instead, we lose 2 games that we should have won against Washington, and now today, the Mets can, this series against the Diamondbacks, a team that, yes, they're very good. I'll give them credit where credit's due. The Diamondbacks are a very good baseball team. But what's going on with our offense that all of a sudden, all our offensive power was Juan Soto. Now, granted, finally, he hits a home run at Citi Field. Oppo Taco, not once, but twice. So, really, what is going on with this team? And, we're playing the Cardinals next, which, as everybody knows, we swept them the last time we played them. 4-game sweep. Best this team looked was in that series, and Senga had a great game against them on the day before Easter. But what are the Mets going to be able to do to fix these issues that are not just with our bullpen, but apparently our hitting woke up for 2 games. The 19-5 whooping we put on the Nationals, which I gotta ask, where has that been? And 2, the 7-3 win we had over the Diamondbacks. And then we lose 2 games where we couldn't score more than 3 runs.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, hopefully I'm right here. I'm hoping Juan Soto finally waking up will help wake up the Mets offense come St. Louis. Hopefully.
Now, you want to mention about the horrible, that's how horrible it was, triple play that got called in game 1 of that national series. Which was not a catch. I just want to say that took us completely out of that inning.
My eyes say it all.
Umps have blinded
Alfonso
them.
Marquez, I'm just going to say it, he absolutely sucks.
No argument here for me.
How in the world we were able to see it in front of our eyes? The ball hit the ground. How does he not see it? How does the second base umpire not see it? I mean, and then it's not a reviewable play. Come on. I have no PG words as to how I feel about this play.
And let's talk about another big issue in our bullpen. Ryan Stanek, apparently our closer now because Diaz doesn't pitch.
Wow.
3 times. 3 times in less than a week, he gives up the lead.
And 2 of them ended up being walk-off hits.
So
this is how bad I put it. Like, I just put anything that went wrong with my life in the past 24 hours, I put the blame on Stanek. In the morning, I filled cold brew on my shirt sleeve. I was like, Stanek, this is your fault.
I tripped and stubbed my toe. Blame Stanek.
Well, today's issues with the Diamondbacks game is not Stanek's fault.
Yes, for once.
Because Soto basically was... No, not basically. Soto was our only run support. And anytime that Soto would get a home run, the 2 times, the Mets would give up that run right back to the Diamondbacks.
In the very next half inning. The very next half inning.
I'm like, what are we doing? This is teams we should be beating. Really, this team is built with so much finesse and power. We got the best player right now, RBI-wise, and Pete Alonso batting third. You got Nimmo, who just tied the Mets record for RBIs in the game, held by one of my favorite Mets growing up, Carlos Delgado, which I was telling David before we started the stream. I might have been 4 years old, but I can remember when the Mets were playing in 06 and where I was when the Mets played the Yankees and David Wright and Delgado hit home runs to put the Mets over the Yankees in that Subway Series.
Gosh, I wish I could say the same thing for when I was 6 years old, because that's how old I was when the last time the Mets won the World Series. And sadly to say, I didn't know anything about baseball as a 6-year-old.
And it's because you mentioned the Mets last time winning the World Series. I have more championship rings now in the last 10 years than the Mets do. 1.
I got a slow
Just
pitch
Mets fan.
I got a slow pitch softball championship.
So,
man,
I'm just gonna say,
That,
all my fans, one word. I'm gonna quote Aaron Rodgers. RELAX. Relax. 32 games into the season, 10 games over 500, 656 percentage, 13 and 3 at Citi Field. Just because we lost 2 games, I'm not gonna make a big deal of it. Can't.
wow, you're the
Yeah.
calm one. Let's talk about some injury news. Because, sure enough, we got a lot of that.
Uh,
AJ Minter on the IL with the lat strain. And then, worst of all, Danny Young with an elbow sprain. And now rumors he might be done for the year with Tommy John surgery.
Minter was
A
placed on the
big blow-
15-day injured list, right?
I think 60.
60? Wow. Really?
Because they had to make room on the 40-man roster for the two guys.
Okay.
That gave up the 2 runs in that travesty of a game called this afternoon.
I could have sworn it was 15.
And unfortunately, the only lefty that we is on his way back is Brooks Raley, and he's not even going to start a rehab assignment until possibly June. So who knows when we'll have reinforcements, if you will.
So right now we have no lefties in our bullpen, which doesn't really help.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. AJ Minter's on the 15-day deal.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. The
But,
big thing is how about the starting pitching? You can't get injuries. We need the starting pitchers to go more than 5 innings. I mean, by the end of May, the bullpen's gonna be strung out.
exactly. Yeah, we've been seeing 5-inning performances, 6-inning performances, 4-inning performances.
Listen, I'll take 6 innings.
You take 6.
Because then you can really go with Budo for 2. And then once Diaz is healthy, you can throw Diaz out there for the night.
And you know what?
Because you know what?
We got
a
Ryan
lot of my
Stanek.
fans don't.
We got Ryan Stanek, everybody. We got Ryan Stanek. We can blow a game for it. All right, where you gonna go? I mean,
David's reaction when he said it says it all. Because he's like, no, we don't need Ryan Stanek. The last thing we need is somebody named Ryan Stanek.
we got Ryan
The
Stanek,
ninth
everybody.
inning of the
He
game.
is gonna be our savior. Kudos to Stanek.
You know who our savior's gonna be is when Frankie Montes and Sean Manaea come back. Which hopefully will be soon, because for my sanity, we need him back sooner rather than later.
Yes, if our saving race out of the bullpen is Ryan Stanek, help us all.
You know what? I love the idea of having Peterson in the rotation, but when Manaea comes back and Montes comes back, with how great Peterson did coming out of the pen last year in the postseason, maybe revisit that idea so we have a lefty in our bullpen if these guys aren't back yet.
Maybe.
Especially with
When's
the fact that Danny, especially when
Manaea's estimated time of
June?
return? All right, and by that time, Brooks Raley may be starting his rehab assignment. So
Yeah, but that doesn't help.
We got Ryan Stanek, everybody. Just stop. We got Ryan Stanek. He'll just, you know what? He'll just be a starter. I mean, let's just put him in there. I mean, why not? Obviously the man can't get the job done during the freaking late game stages of the game. You can't put him in a relief. So you know what? Just try and start him. Just put him as a whole, like a Brozaban type pitcher. Give him
You know
2
what?
innings.
If you think
give him
about
10
it,
runs.
it works so well
he'll be
for
all right.
Clay Holmes. You know what? Think about it. It did work for Clay Holmes.
I mean, can the Mets survive with an all all right-handed bullpen.
Yes, if our starters can go 6
If our
innings
starters
and
can go
not
more
fall
than,
like
you know,
Tanka did.
yeah.
Yeah, what Nick said. Yep.
I mean, what are the Mets, like 22nd in the MLB in terms of innings? Like
Yeah, they're in
5
the
innings or something
bottom
like that? Yeah.
bottom 10
And yet,
for
I
starting
just want
pitching
to point
innings.
this out. Our
Okay.
starting pitchers still hold the best ERA in baseball.
Still got the best ERA. I mean, what more? You know, I mean, you can't. You know, it's like a turnip. Can't squeeze it. You know, if you don't have anything there, it's empty. It's empty. Look, there's nothing dripping. Oh.
and yet our best, and we got the best RBI hitter, one of the best RBI hitters in baseball, and Pete the Man Alonso. And you know what? I said this to somebody the other day. I said, okay, so we don't pay him the amount that he wanted, and he took a shorter term deal. Now I'm thinking, pay him. We do not want to be facing him come down the road next year or the year after. Give him the money that he wants. Because you know what? He is off to one of the best starts of his career. And he's not smashing balls out of the park. I mean, he's got 6 home runs. I think he leads the Mets in homers. But he's driving in runs. He's got the most RBIs on the team. And most importantly, like, we're 10 games over 500. We're still leading the division by some miracle the way we played recently. But that's because the Phillies have started to find ways to lose baseball games that I didn't even know was possible. But you know what? The Mets have made it that thanks to walking off the Phillies and sweeping them, that the Mets are in control of the NL East. And to top it off, I just want to point this out. The Braves are still in the freaking cellar in the NL East. And we can't find ways to keep pushing them further and further back.
Don't sleep on the Braves.
They literally lost last night and we couldn't win the game.
Speaking of those Phillies,
speak on the Braves.
Did you all hear what Jason Worth had to say about Mets and their fans?
Nope, but I'm sure it's going to be real douchey, so let it fire away.
For those who know they're going to get riled up, cover your ears, but I quote, "If you live in New York, you have a choice. You have an obvious choice. You can either be a fan of one of the most storied franchises, one of the greatest franchises in sports history, or the Mets. I have no respect for people that pick the Mets." What a douchebag.
Exactly. Like, one, you know, a lot of Met fans, and I told David this, I said, you know, when you play rivalry teams like the Phillies, the Braves, the Nets, you don't really have a lot of respect for a lot of those players. Now, I will tell you, I have a very short list of players that played for those teams throughout history that I have respect for. Zimmerman, Ryan Zimmerman, Chipper Jones, and Trey Turner. That's it. I got no respect for anybody else, especially a second baseman that has been hated by Mets fans since 2015 when he took out our freaking shortstop in Game 2 of the LDS named Chase freaking Utley. And I was telling David this before we started. I was at the game that Syndergaard and Terry Collins got thrown out when Syndergaard threw one at Chase Utley's head. And I will tell you, purposefully or not, he got what was coming to him. Because you don't play dirty and then expect to get treated respectfully.
Yeah. Utley is on my unholy trilogy of most hated players. Well, for me, nobody will ever top John Rocker.
Oh.
Ever.
How about Chase
John
Utley?
Rocker.
Chase Utley with that slide.
Sorry,
does he rank right up there?
Yeah. So those two are my top two, and then after what Jason Worth had to say about the Mets and their fans, he's hit number three.
Well, I'll tell you what. Because of Jason Worth's comments and the recent bad blood on the field between these two teams, the Phillies-Mets rivalry is on full tilt.
Well, not just the Phillies Mets.
Gasoline
Because
in the fire.
you gotta remember, he played for the Nationals too. So could we even say that maybe the Mets Nationals rivalry is gonna boil over? Say the next time the Mets play either one of those teams, and I will get you that date in 1 second.
Gasoline on the fire. Gasoline on the fire.
So the next time the Mets play the Nationals is June 10th through the 12th. And then the next time they play the Phillies is the 20th through the 22nd in June.
And then I forget 4 more times in September, right in the middle of the playoff race.
Yes, 4 more times with the Phillies in September, and then 3 with the Nationals in August. And then 3 in the middle of a pennant race in September.
Oh.
Now, I want to talk about this past week in Mets history. April 29th, 2022. Jason, you know what that date's significance is?
What was that?
April 29th, 2022. You know what that date is significance of?
I know what it is, but do you know what it is?
I do, because I almost went to that game.
David, do you know what that day is?
I sure do. The Mets no-hit the Phillies. Combined no-hitter.
And you know what?
I gotta add. Hey, Syndergaard. That's a real no-hitter.
But you know what? Speaking of that amazing day in Mets history, I said to my parents hours before the game, I said to them, I'm going to go to this game. I feel like something's going to happen. They're like, no, it's your aunt's birthday. We're going to go celebrate. I was like, fine. I just want to tell the people out there, we did not go anywhere that night. I was literally sitting in this very chair watching that game. And right as the final out happened and the Mets threw the no-hitter, I was like, I could have been at this game. And I went outside. I said, I told you something special was going to happen. They're like, what? So they threw a freaking no-hitter. They're like, oh, I guess you were right. I was like, yeah! I was like, all games that I could have missed.
Goodness.
2012, I missed Johan Santana. I was here watching Santana's no-hitter. 10 years later, I was here watching the combined no-hitter. 10 years down the road, will I still be sitting in this same spot, seeing another no-hitter? Because that's the way that this cookie is crumbling, apparently. Every 10 years, there's going to be a no-hitter in Mets history.
Time will tell.
Maybe a perfect game down the road.
None of that happened.
And
I don't think that'll ever happen. No.
Well, nobody ever said the Padres were going to throw a no-hitter, and then let alone they did it twice in 2 years.
Well, I think just to cap it off from my side, like I said, we're 21-11. We got a weekend series against the Cardinals. I'm a little concerned about the starting pitching. We got Tyler McGill going tomorrow, so you already know off the bat it's going to be another bullpen game. Seems like every game is going to be a bullpen game. Maybe the Mets make a move near the trade deadline. It's too early to tell because obviously we're only in May. Still got a ways to go before the ASB. But if the way the Mets are continuously pitching, the bullpen's going to be shot by the All-Star break. I mean, that's just the truth. I just want to make one
correction.
Sure.
It's Clay Holmes tomorrow.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, McGill's going on Saturday.
You know why? Because I'm looking at the wrong day. So thank you for correcting me. All right, so we got Clay Holmes. So still, we're gonna need a bullpen session again.
And to top it off, we don't know who's pitching on Sunday.
You know what? I will go with Brozaban again. I mean, he seems to,
No!
fit that bill. I mean, you can give him the 2 innings. Come on, stretch him. You know what? Wait, hold on.
In that case, I would rather throw Budo out there for 4 innings.
You can give me Budo. You give me Budo, Brozaban, and you give me my man, Mr. Ryan Stanek.
Only if we're up by 20 runs should Ryan Stanek be in the game at this point. And that's even gonna get close.
Let it be an 8-0 game. Then we'll let him in.
Oh, but I mean, the bullpen definitely got to help out. They've done a good job, good serviceable job. Not gonna really. I mean, I know we're just joking around, but I'm not gonna hammer Stanek like that. He's been efficient for us. In the first month and a half of the season. So I'm not gonna give him a hard time just yet. But I mean, he's got to definitely, shape up. This is New York. It takes a set of stones and it takes some nerves of steel, to get on that mound. Being faced, by tons and tons of fans, and we monitor their performance. So.
I just want to say this: Clay Holmes and Tyler McGill, who you just said are basically 2 bullpen games, are our best 2 starters. Are one of our best 3 starting pitchers. Behind Kodai Senga. Clay Holmes actually has a 3-1 record with the 2.64 ERA.
Oh.
And he's given us more depth than Ryan Stanek had the last week. It's true, David, isn't it?
Grant you. But then, given Stanek's last 3 appearances, well, I don't.
Anything could be better than him pitching. Actually, Clay Holmes was the guy that pitched the 2-0 game against the Nationals on Saturday. He's coming off a shutout. So even though Jason's ranting on Clay Holmes is one of our most consistent starting pitchers.
Oh, you haven't heard a full rant yet. You leave that. I'm not sure if everybody remembers, but on the live stream, remember when the Mets were up 6 to the Nationals and Diaz came in and pitched the 9th? That
this
was the
wouldn't be
rant
2019
on that group. Facebook New York Mets live group.
Was this the 10-4 game that they lost?
Yep.
I have a story to tell for that too.
You were at the game.
I mean, if you were at the game, kudos to you for sticking it out.
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, no.
I mean, me and Jason really can't talk. We were at the 8-0 Mets Dodgers game 3 of the LCS last year.
I mean, I went home.
I went out till the end.
I mean, when Ohtani hit that home run, I left.
I was still part of my current group, but I wasn't an admin yet. But I had this infamous meltdown at the end of the game, so I just went on a complete tirade. I was just like, screw everybody, screw the Mets, screw Sewell, screw Diaz, screw everything. And one of my members still gives me back about it. So the running joke in my group between me and this member is whenever we melt down like that, are my viewing devices still intact? Did I smash my iPad?
You know what? Actually, to talk about that for a second, and I just want to point this out hilariously. The Mets 2-0 win. Diaz was the one that closed the door. And if I recall correctly, I don't think Stanek got in that game.
He did not.
Diaz cannot come in when the lead is huge. He just can't come in. He struggles. I guess there has to be enough pressure on him for him to get the job done. So you could close
Oh,
out a
that's
2-0 game,
damn.
but 10-4, you can't hold a lead. You gotta bring it down a little bit.
Stanek did not get in that game, but
Yeah.
the guy that might be heading for Tommy John surgery sure
know.
did.
Well, I mean, it's.
That's exactly what we need right now. Another guy going for Tommy John surgery and being out for 2 years.
Oi.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
it's the
The two
bullpen.
Mets
It's the bullpen.
wins in Washington. Neither game did Ryan Stanek get in the game, but they put the guy in when it's a 1-run lead in the ninth
So
to shut the door.
So someone needs to answer me this question. Ground ball
Is he ever
routine,
a competent
7-7
closer?
game. Pete Alonso overthrows the pitcher. Nats win the game. You are taught in spring training how to underhand the ball, how to talk. Can somebody please, for the love of baseball, explain how does this man overthrow the pitcher to lose the
Yeah,
game?
I agree with you.
Well, Danik
Especially
was
when you
late
could
getting
just
to the
step on
bag.
it.
Well, you know what? That's right. See? So both parties blew it on that one.
Well, we could also go back a little further, 10 years, in fact. 2015 World Series.
You know what? I'm getting off this
Familia,
live stream.
familia,
I'm done.
familia,
I'm done.
familia.
I'm done. I'm getting off this live stream. Good night. Good night. I don't even want to even. Nope. We are not going there. You see, this guy.
Oh.
You see, this guy, Nick, likes to throw salt beyond into the wound. I mean, he's
I
taking
mean,
the
am I
wound,
wrong?
and
He
he's
gives
just.
up a game tying home run in game 1. Okay, I'm sorry. Murphy's fault in game 4 for booting that grounder. And of course, the infamous, and I still can remember, the Luis Castillo fly
Oh, you know
ball
what? Good
in
night. I'm done.
2009.
After hearing that one, I'm done.
I
After
wanted to
this
go to the
one.
Bronx myself that night and strangle him.
You know, I think
I was like,
Nick
what are
purposely.
you doing? How do you drop a fly ball?
It happens. Just like overthrowing a pitcher. Just like, first baseman throwing it to the catcher and losing Game 5 of the World Series. But that's not, I mean, we shouldn't really be slandering, our home team like this. It's not cool.
No, please. I've been slandering Luis Castillo since 2009.
But have you recovered from 2009?
Meh.
How about
It still
2015?
Because we should have won that series.
We led that whole series against the Royals in 2015.
Yes,
Every-
we should have won.
Yeah.
Every game
We
we
should have
led.
won game 1.
Every game we
game.
led.
We won game 3. We should have won game 1.
Oh,
We should have won game
Oh.
4. And we should have won game 5.
somebody needs to explain to me how Cespedes
We were in the late
misplayed
innings.
that ball. And inside the
If-
park homer.
If you think about this, we led in the late innings of all of game 1, game 4, and game 5. 8th or 9th inning, we had the lead. Mets hold that, we are world champion. And I don't have a freaking National League flag on my wall. Instead, it would say 2015 World Series champion.
Gosh, I have a program for the 2015 World Series that I bought at the Mets Clubhouse store when it still existed on 42nd and 5th. I don't know where it is now.
Well, the Mets
I don't know where
going
my
into the
little
weekend,
booklet is from.
they're up. They're 3.5 up on Philadelphia, and like I said in our premiere stream, don't sleep on the Braves. They're 14 and 16 now, and they're 6 games back. Nats are 7, and the Marlins are 8.
Yeah,
So,
but there should be a whole lot more back there.
but that's what happens. You give a
What's
team
the
a
point? 2
chance.
games. They
Forget
beat
it.
7 games back.
Dave,
And you
I
know
think
what's
Nick
even
just
more-
wants everything. He just
who are
wants
the
the kit and
Phillies
caboodle.
playing?
I mean, nothing's gonna please him. A Met win has to be every night.
Who are the Phillies playing
When?
next? This series. coming up.
Diamondbacks and Arizona. And the Braves are home against the Dodgers.
Well,
I never thought I'd say these words. Let's go Dodgers! Let's go Dodgers!
It's too early to scoreboard and standing watch. Too early.
well,
The Mets can handle their business against the Cardinals. We could be 10 games up on the Dodgers, on the Braves.
well, it's a long season.
It's a marathon, a roller
and
coaster.
down.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now the Braves are now in third place in the NL.
Yeah, that's why I said they're in third. Yeah, but look for the Cardinals to get some sort of retribution because remember they just got swept in a 4-game series, so they're gonna be trying to come out and own this series in a quick 3-game set. So it'll be interesting to see how the Cardinals come
I
out.
never thought I'd be rooting so much for the
weekend
Diamondbacks
series.
and the Dodgers this weekend.
Well,
I'm not rooting.
let's
for anybody.
hope. Let's hope that the Mets finally come through with some big hits. They are 0 for their last 12 with runners in scoring position.
And you know, it's even worse. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the Nationals didn't help us against the Phillies. The Rockies kind of helped us with that last game yesterday, which we could have gained a game on the Braves. They could be 7.5 back right now instead of 6. The Mets would have finished the job either yesterday or today. The Phillies could be 4 games back. But now the Mets need to start. Yeah, Jay, I get it. It's a roller coaster ride, but this is when it's supposed to matter the most. Putting some space between us and the rest of the division.
But that's always
the
been the
Phillies
NL
can't
East.
get here.
It's
Can't
always
get to
tight
the
in the
top.
NL East. There's never a clear-cut taker in the NL East. Nobody really runs away
Well, you know
with the
what?
division.
Before 2006, there used to be.
If you say
Because the Braves ran the division from,
Well, I mean, that was back
from
then.
1991.
pause, David, stop. David saying to quit it. He's saying to quit it.
And we came close, what, twice to winning that division in that?
So,
Sure.
so last night's game and today's Mets obviously were terrible, and I mean just terrible isn't even the proper word I want to say on this stream. But where's the small ball? Where's the sacrificing? Where's the the bunting?
Well, you know what?
What happened to the little
problem is
things?
we have nobody that's fast. Like,
Well-
if we had Jose Reyes still in that lineup, then sure, let's bunt because you ain't throwing Reyes out.
I mean, you
I've
could have bunted
always
with
said
Tyrone
it's
Taylor.
the-
You could have bunted with Acuna. I mean, they had chances, but what I don't want to
I mean,
see
you could
is
have even
Mendoza
bunted
fall in
with
love
Nimmo.
with the power swing.
What
He's
about
got to get back
Nimmo?
to
You
basics.
could have even bunted with him. Because Nimmo sprints everything out. He
I
sprints
would
out
have.
on the walk.
I would have. I mean, you had chances. What were they? 0 for 10 today? 0 for 8?
0 for 2 today,
Okay.
0 for 10 last night.
That's what it was. Yeah, so
Because you know
definitely
what?
last
Shout
night.
out to Zach Gallen, the Diamondback starting pitcher. He pitched great today. Yeah.
What's going on with Corbin Burns? Like, very, very, very odd
Oh,
night.
gosh.
5 walks last night. That is very uncharacteristic of Corbin Burns. I mean, I'm not a Corbin Burns
There
fan.
was a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. I mean,
Yeah. The Mets left
So
third-
good.
13 men on base.
Man, imagine if those 13 men scored, we would have won that game. Or at least like half of them.
well, we could only mash in a
Yeah.
couple of runs last night, so
But
onward and upward.
it's just another case of shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well, that's been the case for as long as we've been Mets fans since 2001. When I was a newborn, I was born into a Mets household. My brother was a Yankees fan. My mother was a Mets fan. My dad really didn't care about baseball. Ironically, my dad's side of the family were all Yankee fans. My mother's side was all Met fans. So there was a little bit of bad blood when it came to the Subway Series.
Can we talk about really quick how Brandon Waddell was in his outing last night, giving us much needed innings?
Now I gotta ask, why is this guy back in AAA?
Need to make room.
Yeah, but you know what? When you have somebody that does that, give him another outing. See if he can actually hold true to what he did in the first outing.
He did have options, no?
Yeah, but
I think he had
when
options.
you bring up the two idiots that gave up the runs today.
Wow, name calling. Oh, this guy's on fire.
The 4 runs.
I'm
sorry, the 3 runs that cost us this game.
You know what, dude? I'm gonna buy you a Ryan Stanek jersey. I need your address, and I'm gonna personally have Ryan Stanek sign this autographed T-shirt. I'm gonna find him on Twitter. I'm gonna say, look, I have a really big fan of yours. It's coming your way.
Today. I'm talking about the 2 imbeciles named. Hang on. Kranick, who gave up a run, and Cabrera.
I really like
Kranick's been doing.
He's been doing fantastic. He's been doing like lights out.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. Just Cabrera. Literally, both times the Diamondbacks scored was after what?
Runs. Yeah.
Was after who? Apo Taco Soto. 2 freaking homers, and we just gave them the runs right back.
Yeah, today was the type of game that was just. Today was just the type of game that just wasn't in the cards for us. There was too many things that happened during the course of the game that kind of led to this loss today.
And you know what? Shout out to Senga. Pitching in and out of jams. I know he only went 4, but pitching in and out of jams. Like that 3rd and 4th inning could have been a whole lot worse for the Mets. Instead, he battled through it.
Yeah, he had a lot of traffic. He had a lot of traffic today. But I mean, despite his record, he's still 3-2 with a 1.38 ERA. So it's not like he's giving up a lot of runs. It's just that he needs to cut down this traffic because that'll get your pitch count way up really fast.
That ghost pitch is still fooling people, but he can't get it over for a strike half the time.
Yeah.
If he gets that over for a strike,
yeah,
we're good.
He's got 31 strikeouts, so it's not like, you know, he's not hitting the plate. It's just that, you know, those men on base, those are killers. And if you get men on base, your out is going to be really quick.
Clay Holmes going tomorrow, which hopefully he'll continue his stellar. He's good. He's been good this year. Coming out of the bullpen. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about, or
we could do this all night? But I know we're gonna cut it short. But I mean, I'm very proud of Juan Soto getting his 2 home runs, getting his flowers at Citi Field. The fans, you know, still rooting for him, even though last night you heard some boos because he couldn't deliver that hit. See, but that just shows you that some Met fans, and I'm gonna say loosely the word some, because everybody will probably see me tomorrow at work, or they'll see me and they'll send me a message saying, oh, you know, you're just hating. No. Some fans always want the Mets hitters to be productive. And it's not always going to be like that. It just so happens today that Lightning hit a bottle and Soto got 2 home runs. Now, will this carry into the St. Louis series?
Hopefully. You know, shout out to Soto. The fans cheer for him even when he wasn't producing, and then today he finally came through. That first one, I didn't think it was gone but then once I saw the guy look up at the stand, I'm like, that's gone. Like, yes, Soto. And when he hit the second one, like the May hit, I was like, that's another one.
106.4 miles per hour.
The same spot. Almost in the same spot, the 2 home runs.
Yeah, 109.6.
I think maybe like 2 sections over from each other with the 2 home runs. But that's going to do it for us. on the orange and blue breakdown. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Again, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. For
The Caps.
Oh,
Dave
my
Kim.
sports
I'm Nick, aka Mets Rock. We will talk to you again next week. Till then, let's go, Mets!
Mets.